private money lending, there are so many different things you can do with that. You can private lend on flips, you can private lend into syndications. That also comes with different levels of work. A lot of my private lenders have been private lending on flips for a long time, and they're having trouble making the shift into private lending into syndications. And we can talk about the differences. I promise I'll take a break so you can ask questions because I'm kind of rambling here. But like one of my private lenders said to me that's been private lending on flips, she's like, I am so sick of this. This is not passive. Private lending into flips is not passive. This is a lot of work for me. Like I'm constantly like sending things to the title company, which we were just talking about in the beginning. She's like picking up checks, signing satisfaction pieces. Like every 6 months, my money's coming back. My bookkeeping, it's like costing me so much. Like this is just not passive enough for me. So I was like, you should really look into passively investing in syndications. And now she just did her first passive investment in a syndication. And she's like, so that's it? Like, that's all I have to do for like the next 5 years till my money comes back. I'm like, yeah, that's literally it. Just sit back and wait for my updates. Like, and I'm not talking to you guys about anything I haven't done. I private lend on flips still to this day. I passively invest into syndications. I'm an active general partner on syndications. I own a rental portfolio and do asset management. Like I do all these things. When you're a private lender, so you want to take your money and lend it out to someone else who has experience in real estate. You can private lend on a flip project where you're loaning them money and they flip the house and the money comes back to you. Or you can, we call it passively investing into a syndication, which means you're private lending. You're still a private lender. You're sending money to someone that's putting syndications together. So syndications are just when we're buying larger properties. So there's a lot of investors involved. And sorry if this is too basic of an answer, but maybe someone on the call doesn't know. So for syndications, like usually when you're lending on a flip project, you're lending to that one person, that one flipper. Syndications usually have 2 or 3 general partners and then some co-general partners and a whole bunch of passive investors or private lenders, I use those terms interchangeably, pool their money together for the down payment on that property. So the syndicator, who's the person that's putting the deal together, it might be like we just did a 166 unit in Florida. It was a $30 million deal. I don't know many people that are going to go out and buy a $30 million deal by themselves. Okay. So between the down money and the rehab costs that we needed, because we're going to renovate the units, we needed to raise like $9 million. So what we did is we have a whole bunch of private lenders or passive investors that just want to put their money in real estate and get a great return. The down money, that $9 million, comes from a whole bunch of passive investors or private lenders. And then the rest of the financing comes from a bank. Passive investing into syndications is different because it's more long-term. It's a flip project. You're in and out in typically 6 months, sometimes less these days because stuff's turning so quick. Syndications is either like 3, 5, 7, 10 years. They're all structured differently. The downside to syndications is it's very illiquid. So it's not like when you put money in a syndication, there's typically a $75,000 minimum, sometimes $100,000 minimum, depending on the syndication. They're all structured differently. But it's not like you can say a year from now, hey, I know I put $100,000 into this syndication, but I need it back. Like I'm having a family emergency, so I want my money back. That's not how it works. It's very illiquid. So once you're like putting your money in, your money's in for like 3, 5, 7 years. So it almost is like that retirement account that you don't touch, like that 401k you're not touching. Like the money's out there, but it's nothing you're going to liquidate anytime soon. Whereas flipping, private lending into flips allows you to keep your money more liquid, because worst case scenario, it might be out for maybe a year. Hopefully not, because most flippers should be able to turn your money in less than 6 months.